I'm Andrew Levy, and this is the American Dream. Hello there. So previously I went over this list I call Feminist List. Basically goes over a bunch of different things that are communication issues, and the men aren't saying anything. And the women are all just like doubling down on it and saying, yeah, let's forward us women being more masculine. So today I want to go over this issue from atheists. I've heard atheists speaking about this idea of God is so great and all that stuff. What theists make God out to be? Why didn't God just provide us with a list of rules, do's and don'ts, and just leave it at that? Why do we have to have a whole story and all that? I have a theory in all this. So my theory on why the Bible is made up of stories and not just a list from God of do's and don'ts comes down to the fact that we need these stories. God knows that if he just gave us a list, this is what I believe. I don't have evidence or anything for this. This is just my theory. But I think that God knows if he just gave us a list of things of what to do, what not to do, because it's from God, and let's say we just know of the story somehow without it being in the Bible of getting the list of do's and don'ts. Let's say there's just like, okay, well, here's a story. Jews were taken out of Egypt and they went to get this list from God, and now we just follow the list because God is God. At the end of the day, you don't have any context for your life, for any of it. It's just basically, here's a bunch of things to do and not do, and you're just supposed to follow it without understanding any of it to your life, to your existence. The Bible goes through existence. It goes through life. It goes through struggles. It goes through suffering. It goes through... There's teachings from in Judaism where, at the end of the day, it teaches that the Jews leaving Egypt after being enslaved all that time and being treated as awful as they were, they wanted to actually go back. They feared leaving because there was comfort there. They didn't have to worry about food, they didn't have to worry about where they're living, and they were just provided with so much. So there was legitimately, they wanted to go back for that comfort. And leaving and not knowing the unknown was scarier. There's just things, so much stuff in the Bible, so many stories that just you learn from, of life, of wisdom, of things that were just already lived, of life from people for all those years. And you can learn from it. Here's what people are doing, here's what not to do, here's why, and ultimately you live your life knowing to go to God. That's what it comes down to. That's the gist of it. The Bible is the story of going to God and getting there and actually getting as close to God as you can, working on yourself more and more and more with the list that is there of what to do and what not to do. But without that context of anything else about life and the struggles and what it takes to get there, you have no relatability to it. You need that relatability, and that's why I think God gave us the Bible and gave us all those stories, that we could have something to look at and think like, wow, we can feel this. We can actually relate to this. We can connect to this. And from that, we can learn what to do and what not to do within the context of getting closer to God and why, what the purpose of it is. At the end of the day, if there's no God, all what you're doing has no purpose. That's what it comes down to. No matter how much you tell yourself, yeah, well, my purpose is my family and my friends and my children and whatever the purpose you think may be, has no purpose without God. All of it. It's literally all for nothing. If there was no God, as atheists believe there is no God, then all the good you're doing doesn't matter. Even if, let's say, they would argue, well, we know morality. We just happen to know morality. I think that's nonsense. But let's just grant that argument, that people just naturally know morality. If there's no God, what's the difference if you know morality? You can know how to be the most moral person in the world, and you can embody that. You can be that person who is the most moral person in the world, and then you die, and you were the most moral person in the world for nothing. That's what it comes down to. The Bible's there saying, well, actually, there is a purpose to get closer to God, to serve God, and God has a plan for everything, and you want to live your life to get close to God, as close as you can, so you can actually live to your purpose, and then God's plan you leave up to God. Your plan is, your goal in life and everything that you do is supposed to be to actually get closer to God. That's your purpose, what you're supposed to do. And then God's purpose of what happens from God, why it's all like this, is for God to know and for us, I guess, to find out. Without any of that, you might say, well, you just don't know, and you're just making an argument from not knowing anything. What I do know is that without God, there's no purpose. And if you believe there's a purpose for our existence, and you believe we need what's necessary to actually relate to God and relate to living for a purpose, this is what you need. Where without it, you don't got it. You're not going to have it. So next time I want to get into this video from, well, the Sunday special from Ben Shapiro with Bill Maher. There are some things on there that Bill Maher spoke about that I agree with over Ben Shapiro, and then there are things from Ben Shapiro and Bill Maher that I actually disagree with entirely that I'm going to get into next time. All the best. Thanks for watching.